Mike, we got some good news today, man. We have added to our cap number, and it also means that we are no longer involved with Marcus Mariota. This was not shocking news, guys. We had talked about this for a while, but the idea that the Falcons are going to do it, we didn't know what good graces he was in as far as coach art and what this meant and how he quit on the team, because he did quit. But we don't have to worry about it. And, Mike, let's kind of go back for a second to just talk about this whole Marcus Mariota thing, because when we got him, we wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. You had said this time and time again, like, he's a retread, he's not a number one guy, but we'll see what he can do. And as the season progressed, and there was no bigger moment for us than when we were at the Carolina game, and he throws the grenade ball?
Yeah, I put the picture up today because he's kind of linked to that. That was kind of like the definite low mark, if there was one, when he threw that grenade toss in the mist up in Charlotte, and everyone goes, what in God's name just happened, including Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. And that was kind of like, all right. That's another thing. I just wish we had gotten rid a little bit sooner. Then maybe a few more folks out there would feel as warm and fuzzy as we do at times about his chances next season.
Yeah, listen, it's not personal. Maybe a little bit, because when he quit on the team and you had the guy who was sitting on the bench all year supporting him, doing everything he could to make Marcus a better quarterback, even though he's a young guy. We're talking about Desmond Ridder. And he kind of turned the other way, Mike, and didn't support Ridder in the same way that Ridder, who's a rookie on this team, was trying to be supportive of his teammates. The hardest thing in professional sports, because all these guys are good, guys, is not playing. They're all really good. Some a lot better than others. But, Mike, when you're not playing, the thing to be supportive, to build your teammates up, it's hard, man, because you're not out there. And that's what Ridder did. And then when it came time for Marcus to do it, I'm going to get my ball, and I'm clearing out my locker, and I'm going home. I don't want to play.
And as we said, I don't know what you were thinking he was going to be. We had basically the full spectrum from he's what I said. He's a journeyman and a bum, and it's got a ceiling that's pretty low, to he could reinvent himself. And again, there are stories about that, guys that have done it. We've talked about folks that have, bombed out with one team and they've gone on and they've had success. Jim Plunkett is kind of like the poster child for doing that back in the day. But in this case, the answer was no. So now we get on to Ridder, and now we're trying to build this football team. And I liked what I heard from Fontenot. I mean, look, Fontenot plays it close to the vest. We will replay it for you. But the idea that, yes, the defense, no matter how you do it, and I did hear one thing with Andy and Randy's conversation, Carl, the old debate you and I have had. Do you build from the front or the back? I still think you've got to start from the front. Some GMs say you can build from the edge, but you're a little bit vague about how they're going to build the defense.
If you have two dynamic corners, you can build back to front. Meaning you've got two all-pro type guys. Usually you don't know that, Mike, when you draft guys. It takes a few years. Jalen Ramsey came in with a big mouth and said he was the best corner. It took a few years for us to realize he ultimately got big money. He got traded, won a Super Bowl. But you don't find that out usually the first year when you draft these guys. So if you're saying we're going to go corner, which we might, then you better know that this guy has to be a difference maker, and you feel like you've got another one on the other side in A.J. Terrell, and, we're going to have two shutdown corners, and that's how we're going to build. Listen, Thomas Dimitroff tried this, Mike. When he drafted the two corners, we went this route. The problem was the guys up front, as he continued to try to build, were the wrong guys.
Yeah, and I thought Trufant was solid but never spectacular. And they re-upped him, and that's part of that contributed to some of the contract and cap space issues we got into later. But there are the ways you look at it. I just think the elite teams, the squads we just saw in the Super Bowl, they address the front. They address the defensive line, the edge rushers, having depth at defensive line. You can rotate guys in. That's where we got to be. That's the world I want to live in.